In the little village of Karai, where the sun glowed golden and the people were warm, there was a girl named Hauwa. Hauwa was beautiful, with eyes that sparkled like stars in the night sky and a laugh that could lift anyone's spirits. She was also kind, helping her mother with the chores and caring for her younger siblings. Everyone loved Hauwa, and the villagers whispered that soon many young men would come knocking on her door to ask for her hand in marriage. As Hauwa grew older, boys from all over Karai and nearby villages would sneak glances at her, hoping to win her heart. But Hauwa wasn't interested. She had a secret. Her heart already belonged to someone. A boy named Malik, her childhood friend. Malik was strong, clever, and brave, and he often teased Hauwa, calling her princess, while she would roll her eyes and smile. They shared stories, laughter, and dreams of the future. Malik had even promised Hauwa that one day he would ask for her hand in marriage. But one cold night, everything changed. Malik's family received an urgent call from his uncle, who lived in the city. They needed him there to help with the family business. It was supposed to be a short trip, but days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Hauwa waited patiently, watching every road that led into Karai, hoping that Malik would return soon. But he didn't. As time passed, Hauwa's heart ached, and her spirit dimmed. The villagers noticed, and they started to talk. "Why hasn't Malik come back?" they would ask. "Is he not coming for Hauwa?" Hauwa could hear their whispers, and though she tried to stay strong, every day felt harder than the last. One evening, Hauwa received a letter. It was from Malik, but the words made her heart sink. Malik wrote that he was going to marry someone else. He had met a girl in the city, and they had fallen in love. Hauwa couldn't believe it. She felt betrayed, hurt, and confused. Why would Malik leave her like this after all their promises? Hauwa was heartbroken, and in her pain, she made a vow. "I will never trust anyone who speaks of love again," she whispered to herself. As the months rolled on, suitors came to ask for Hauwa's hand in marriage. But Hauwa would not listen to them. She remembered Malik's broken promise and felt that no man could be trusted. One by one, the suitors gave up, puzzled by Hauwa's coldness. The villagers started to wonder if Hauwa would ever marry. They said she had become as fierce as a lioness, protecting her heart with walls that no one could climb. Yet, deep down, Hauwa felt lonely. She wanted to believe in love again, but the pain of Malik's betrayal held her back like a heavy chain. Then one day, a stranger arrived in Karai. His name was Amir, and he was unlike any of the men in the village. Amir was kind, gentle, and had a way of making even the saddest heart smile. He seemed to see through Hauwa's guarded heart, and he didn't seem afraid of her fierceness. He was patient, and whenever he saw Hauwa, he would greet her with a warm smile that made her heart feel strange, almost as if it was coming back to life. Amir started to ask Hauwa questions about herself, about her dreams, and what made her happy. At first, she brushed him off, but slowly, Hauwa found herself opening up. She told him about her love for the stars, her favorite flowers, and the memories she shared with her family. Hauwa even shared the story of her broken heart, something she had never told anyone else. But as Amir listened, he didn't offer any advice. He simply listened, and Hauwa realized she felt lighter, like a burden was slowly being lifted. The villagers watched with curiosity. Some thought Amir was brave, while others thought he was foolish. Why does he bother? They wondered. Doesn't he know that Hauwa will never marry? But Amir paid no attention to their whispers. He seemed to see something in Hauwa that no one else could, and he was willing to wait for her to see it too. As Hauwa and Amir grew closer, something strange began to happen. She started to feel happy again. Her laughter, which had once been a rare sound in the village, became bright and clear once more. Yet, every time she felt that little spark of joy, Hauwa would pull away, remembering her vow. She didn't want to be hurt again, to open her heart only to have it shattered like before. But Amir was patient. He understood her fears, and even when Hauwa pushed him away, he would wait. He seemed to understand that love wasn't about rushing or promises that couldn't be kept. It was about being there, quietly, steadily, waiting for the heart to heal. And then, one evening, something unexpected happened. A messenger from the city came with a letter for Hauwa. It was from Malik. He was back in Karai, and he wanted to see her. Hauwa's hands shook as she held the letter. Malik was back? Her heart pounded with a mixture of anger and sadness. Why was he here after all this time? She thought of all the nights she had waited, of the hurt she had carried alone. Hauwa didn't know if she wanted to face him, but her curiosity won over. She needed to know why he had returned. The next evening, Hauwa decided to meet Malik in the quiet garden behind her house. She wrapped herself in her favorite shawl, its warmth giving her strength. As she stepped outside, the moon hung low, casting a silver light across the village, as if it, too, was waiting to witness what would happen. When Malik appeared, Hauwa could hardly recognize him. He seemed thinner, older somehow, with a shadow of regret in his eyes. He walked toward her slowly, almost as if he feared she might vanish. Hauwa crossed her arms tightly, her gaze steady, refusing to let her emotions show. "Hauwa," Malik began, his voice barely a whisper, "I know I hurt you. I made promises I didn't keep, and I left without saying goodbye. I was a fool." Hauwa held her ground, her silence pressing him to continue. "When I went to the city," Malik said, "I thought I'd be back soon. But things changed. My family needed me. And, I admit, I was swept away by the city life. I met someone, and for a while, I thought it was love." He looked down, his voice trembling. "But I was wrong. She didn't love me the way I thought she did. And I realized I had left behind the person who truly mattered." Malik took a shaky breath, looking straight into Hauwa's eyes. "I came back because I want to make things right. I know it's selfish to ask, but can you forgive me?" Hauwa's heart felt like it was being torn in two. Part of her wanted to shout at him, to tell him how much pain he'd caused. But another part, a smaller, quieter part, felt something soften. She could see the regret in his eyes, the weight of his words. "I don't know if I can forgive you, Malik," she said finally, her voice steady but soft. "You left me with nothing but broken promises. And I learned that words mean little without actions. I don't know if I can trust you again." Malik nodded, accepting her words with a bowed head. But before he could say anything more, they both heard a sound, a faint rustling in the bushes nearby. Hauwa's heart skipped a beat, and she turned sharply. Out of the shadows stepped Amir, his face calm but his eyes filled with an intensity she had never seen before. She realized he must have been listening. "Amir," Hauwa said, surprised. Amir stepped forward, his voice gentle but firm. "I didn't mean to eavesdrop, Hauwa, but I couldn't just let you face this alone." He glanced at Malik, who looked back at him, a mix of surprise and uncertainty in his eyes. Amir continued, "I know I haven't known you as long as he has, Hauwa, but I care for you deeply. And I want to be here for you, not just today but for the days to come. I would never leave you waiting, wondering if I'd ever return." Hauwa looked between Malik and Amir, her mind spinning. She had spent so long guarding her heart, and now, here were two men, each trying to reach her in his own way. She felt something stir in her, a sense of power, of choice. Malik's voice cut through the silence. "I understand if you've moved on, Hauwa. If I had been braver, I would have come back sooner. But I want you to know I've changed. I'm here now, and I'm willing to prove myself to you." Hauwa bit her lip, her mind a whirlwind of memories and feelings. She looked to Amir, who waited with that steady, quiet presence, and then to Malik, who stood with his heart open, hoping she would give him another chance. "I need time," Hauwa whispered, feeling the weight of her decision. The village buzzed with gossip the next morning, as word of Malik's return and Amir's intentions spread like wildfire. Some people cheered Malik, saying he was brave to come back and face his past mistakes. Others admired Amir's loyalty, praising his patience and steadfastness. Meanwhile, Hauwa felt torn, her heart pulled in two directions. Each time she saw Amir, he would smile softly, giving her space but letting her know he was there. And each time Malik crossed her path, his eyes held a silent plea, reminding her of their shared history and dreams. Then, one day, a mysterious old woman appeared at Hauwa's doorstep. Her face was wrinkled like an ancient map, her eyes sharp with wisdom. She introduced herself as Mama Lamy, a storyteller who had traveled far, collecting tales of love, betrayal, and forgiveness. Mama Lamy looked at Hauwa with knowing eyes. "My dear," she said, "I've seen many hearts like yours, caught between the past and the present. But you must listen to the whispers of fate. Sometimes, a heart must break to grow stronger." Hauwa was intrigued. "Do you have a story for me, Mama Lamy?" The old woman smiled. "Indeed, child. It is the story of a young woman who had to choose between the man who held her past and the man who saw her future. Her heart was divided, and so was her fate. Only when she learned to trust herself did she find her answer." Hauwa pondered the words, feeling as if they were meant just for her. As she lay awake that night, she wondered if the story was her own, a tale of destiny and decisions. She realized that the choice she made would shape not only her future but also the futures of Malik and Amir. But one question remained, lingering in her heart like an unspoken truth. Was her destiny with Malik, who had left but returned, or with Amir, who had never left her side? Hauwa drifted into sleep, not knowing that the answer would come soon in a way she least expected. An event that would change everything. A twist that neither she nor the villagers of Karai could ever foresee. The morning sun rose over Karai, casting a golden light across the village. Hauwa awoke feeling a strange calm, as if the burden she'd carried for so long was finally starting to lift. She was ready to make her decision. That evening, Hauwa called for Malik and Amir to meet her in the garden behind her house, the same place where Malik had asked for her forgiveness. She felt the weight of the choice she was about to make, but also a newfound strength. Both men arrived, their eyes filled with hope, but as they waited, Hauwa could sense a deep tension in the air. Hauwa took a deep breath and began, "Malik, you were my first love. I believed in us, in the promises we made. When you left, I felt like a piece of my heart went with you. And when I heard that you had moved on, I thought I could never trust again. But seeing you return, it's given me closure. It's helped me let go of that pain." Malik's face softened, though his eyes betrayed a flicker of sadness. He nodded, understanding her words. Then, Hauwa turned to Amir. "Amir, you came into my life when I had closed my heart. I tried to push you away, but you didn't give up on me. You listened, you were patient, and you were there when I didn't even know I needed someone. You taught me that love can be gentle, that it doesn't need to come with broken promises." Amir's eyes held a steady warmth, a quiet joy that told her he'd been waiting for these words. Hauwa continued, her voice firm. "I have made my choice. I choose the future, not the past. I choose Amir." For a moment, there was only silence. Malik's face fell, but then, to Hauwa's surprise, he smiled, a small, sad smile, but one that held acceptance. "I understand, Hauwa," he said softly. "I came back to make things right, and I'm glad you found happiness." He took a step back, bowing his head respectfully before turning and walking away into the night, his figure slowly fading under the moonlight. Amir reached for Hauwa's hand, his touch gentle but filled with a quiet promise. Hauwa looked up at him, her heart finally free from the chains of the past. She had found someone who would stand by her side, not out of duty, but out of true, unwavering love. As they walked back toward her home, Hauwa felt the warmth of Amir's hand in hers, a feeling as steady and comforting as the sunrise. The villagers watched from their doorsteps, whispering with wonder, for they had witnessed a rare and precious moment. A love that was chosen, not forced or bound by old promises. Hauwa's heart, once broken and guarded, was now open, ready to embrace a new chapter. And as she walked hand in hand with Amir, she knew that whatever lay ahead, she had chosen a path of peace, trust, and true companionship. In the quiet night, as the village lights faded, Hauwa looked up at the stars, feeling their light fill her heart, and whispered a silent thank you to the love that had once been, and to the love that would guide her forward.